overall, it just had too many issues. Maybe we need to have a whole new segment of my videos called, What Did I Frog This Time? Welcome back to Stu Stitches podcast number 6. Today, I actually have finished objects. But of course, as always, I have frogged something. Didn't get it finished. What is new, people? What is new? Nothing. Do you like my Baba shirt? Baba. That's what my kids call me, is Baba. Okay, so let's start with 2 finished objects. 2. I know. You should be proud of me. But they're not like sweaters or anything, because we all know I'm never ever going to finish a sweater or a cardigan or not. We'll talk about it. Okay, finished objects. Okay, first finished object, which I'll show you on, but then I'll just show you like part of the pattern, is one of the scarves that I am gift knitting for people. And I actually finished one. I'm about 3/4 of the way finished with another one. I started one, but this one is done. It's quite big. So this is how wide it is. It's a wide scarf on purpose. And this is what the pattern is. So I guess it's almost like a basket weave, but it looks good on both sides. So, but it is, pretty long. So I'll show you, like, if I were to wear it, what it would look like. So, it would look like this, I guess, kind of depending how you would wear it. I think this is really nice. Again, this is going to be for a mail aid for one of my students. So hopefully he will like that, but that took a while. This was one of the ones that, honestly, I'll have the pattern down below. The pattern, it looks like this would be difficult, but it's actually super, super simple. The only thing is you have to count your rows to know when to stop and then restart the pattern. But overall, I was able to just bring this in a bag with me without the pattern with me after, a couple repeats of the pattern. I understood what to do. So this worked out really well. I would definitely recommend this as a scarf. You can make it, so again, mine is pretty wide that I made, but you can make it, I think, regular and even like skinny, I think. And you can even make it wider to make it more of a shawl-ish. So there's a lot of variation. And then again, depending on what yarn you use and what colors you use, I think this would make a really, really nice gift for somebody, because it's not that hard. It's just the same repeats. It's just going to take a while because it's a scarf. Okay, the second thing, we talked about this a few times in the past. Ta-da! This is my Musselburgh hat, and mine is 2 colors. So it's black and like a peachy, orangey coral variegated. This yarn is, I don't actually remember the name of the yarn, like just peachy or something. It's from Frey Morgan. I will link their information down below. This specific one is just a one-off that they made, but they make a lot of really cool yarn. And then the black inside is just a random fingering weight black yarn. It's really not as nice as this one, obviously. But last time I talked about this, I said, I only have, a couple, I just need to do a few more decreases and then we'll be done. I'll probably get it done in a night. Which, honestly, if I gave myself just like a day, I could probably finish the decreases and pull this through. And then I realized when I went back to it, I'll take this apart. You are never gonna, this is black, but I'll show you like on the peach side. So let's just say I was doing the peach side. There are, let me get this right here. Okay, so here, I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this, but here's like a decrease. And then there's another decrease here, and then there's 2 on the side. So there's 4 decreases. Makes sense, right? Well, I stupidly, don't make my mistake, but I stupidly, so when you do the pattern, you eventually end with 4 stitch markers, 1 for each of the either increase or decrease. So with the increase, well, once I hit the end of the increases and it's just stockinette all the way up until you do the decreases, I don't know why, but I took out 2 of the stitch markers and I just left 2 in. I don't remember the reasoning behind it. There is no good reasoning. I honestly don't remember. Brain fart. I don't know. But I did, and I got all the way down to where I was supposed to start decreasing. Well, I just started decreasing with the 2 stitch markers, which meant I was only decreasing on 2 sides, but not here. I got a good chunk of it before I realized, oh, wait a minute, I am not decreasing properly. So then I had to rip it all the way back to about here is where the decreases start. So I had to rip it all the way back out. I had to, and you can kind of see a little bit of a line where I picked it up, but it's black. You won't be able to see it on there at all. Then I had to re-pick it up, and then I had to count all the way around and then divide that into 4. And somehow I still screwed it up because I counted and then I divided that in half, and then I should have divided that in half. But I have no idea. Yeah, I think it's this one. Yes, okay. I'm highly doubtful that you are going to be able to see this at all. But like right up here, again, you won't be able to see it, but right there, I ended up somehow when I had, because I did magic loops, I had 2 and 2, so like stitch marker, stitch marker, stitch marker, and then stitch marker. So 2 halves on each side. Somehow on one of the sides, my halves were more like this, a 3/4 and a 1/4. I don't know how I counted, but I counted very off. So then I had to start kind of moving my decrease over. So if you look really carefully, like I said, on the black part here, you can see it. But even if I wore the black on the outside, because it's black, I don't think you're going to see it. And it's at the top of my head. So again, unless you're like looking down at the top of my head, which honestly, because I'm short, probably more people do than, than I would want, you're not really going to see it. Plus, I like this color better. I honestly kind of wish I had just made the whole thing in this color, because this yarn, it's okay, but it's some retro fingering weight yarn. I have no idea. I don't even remember the like composition of what it is, but it's not super soft. It's definitely not as soft as the Superwash Merino Nice wool that the Peachy is, but I'll show it to you on my head. So I believe this is a adult medium. So I could, if I wanted to, just wear it like that. It'd be a little slouchy here, and I do have my hair up a little bit. So if I had my hair like up in a bun here, it'd probably be just fine. And I have a little bit of a larger head circumference. I always have. Lots of hats don't fit me. So this actually works well for me. And then if I wanted to, I can pull it down so it goes to about there. And then I can have, you know, somewhat of a brim. I like my ears to be covered, but if you don't want your ears covered, you can pull it up. So it definitely works. I mean, I have a hard time getting that brim to be super crisp. I don't know if there's a trick to that, but it doesn't look bad to me. Here you can see it started, so I probably would like move that where I started towards the back because I forgot to do a jogless stripe, but again, nobody's almost going to notice. I found this hat to be fine. It's a lot of work to figure out first when you're learning. I did the pinhole cast on, I believe it's called, with like the crochet hook and everything. I'll leave a link below to a Nitty Natty video talking about that cast on. It doesn't really give you any information about the patterns. You still have to buy the pattern, but it talks about the cast on, which was very, very helpful. So I did that. And then, like I said, the actual increases aren't super hard. It's a pretty easy pattern. And figuring out gauge is not super hard. But I don't know. I found it a little bit fiddly. I know it's supposed to be that fiddly, I guess, because it can be more adjusted to like your certain head. But I just don't know if it's worth it, honestly. It is a nice hat. I don't have any issues with it. It looks fine. But I just don't know. Now my hair's going to be all funky for the rest of it. I just don't know if it's really super duper amazing. I'll show you this way. You know, if it's as super duper amazing of a hat as everybody says, where like they make it seem like it's the best hat ever in life, I remember, so, you know, this looks okay. I remember I made a hat, I believe it was just the classic ribbed hat from Purl Soho, and that was in some weird worsted gradient weird color that I had. And I remember I loved that hat. It was nice and warm. I liked the stretchiness of the rib. Honestly, I think I'd probably just make that again. Again, this is a really nice hat, and I love this yarn. So, I think I might take the rest of this yarn, and I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I'll do something with it. And I don't know. What do you guys think? Everybody thinks it's the most amazing pattern ever. I just don't know if I'm convinced. I'm probably in the minority here. I know some people who have made like 12 of these hats and just constantly make them, but I just don't know if it's that great. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me. But this color, I almost want to rip the whole hat out just to save this color and make it into something else, but it's a nice hat and I will definitely use it. So those are my two finished items. Now, we're going to talk about the thing that I frogged because it's not a whip anymore. It is gone. I don't really know what category this goes in, but I'm going to show you here. So this is what the pattern is supposed to look like. This is the Dryades or Dryades sweater. Again, never figured out how to say it. I'll say Dryades sweater. And I was making it it's in a worsted weight. I used, I think it's Red Heart Super Saver brushed in khaki, I believe is the yarn. I'll leave it down below. It's a cheaper acrylic yarn, but I had bought a lot of that for something else. And then I was like, well, I'll just use it for this. Now, here's my mistake. Warning, do a gauge swatch. Don't be like me. And so this is kind of the first, well, I tried to make a cardigan before, totally screwed it up. Go back to my other podcast. You will have a good laugh over what happened with that. It was a disaster. But here's my thing. I was just like, with the cardigan, I was like, I think I'm about a large XL. And then somehow that is definitely not the sizing that I should be, even though that's like a lot of the clothing size that I am. It must have had a ton of positive ease, and I think I'm a very loose knitter compared to many other people. These are things that I'm learning. So back to the Dryade sweater. I think Dryade sweater, we'll call that. So with that, I did measure myself. I used my tape measurer. I even thought that I accounted for positive ease. However, I did not gauge swatch. And again, like I said, I think I'm learning that I'm a loose knitter compared to many other people. So I'm wondering if because I didn't gauge swatch and I'm much looser, then this is what ended up happening. So this is a video I made on TikTok showing, like, should I frog it or should I not? And in that video, I was like, it's just too loose for me. The arms were ginormous, and full honesty here, I have very large upper arms. Like I guess it's extremities, like my legs and my arms, especially my upper arms, harbor a lot of my fat. They're just much larger. I have a hard time wearing t-shirts and different things because that's where I store a lot of my fat, especially my upper arms. And so my arms are already big. And then this was even bigger than that. And I think, like it was coming out to here. And even with the ribbing wasn't going to like shrink it in any. It was just absolutely ridiculous looking. As you can see, it was ridiculous. So I was like, I think I'm going to have to frog it. And also the collar was a rolled collar. And I'm not sure if it's because it was a larger size and they didn't account for how odd I think that looks on a larger size. Again, I know sometimes when you have a pattern, even if you make it to larger sizes, sometimes it just doesn't look as nice or it doesn't look the same in a larger size as it does in a smaller size. Hopefully that makes sense to you. But I felt that the rolled collar didn't look nice. At least I just felt it looked too big. And when I looked on the model who was wearing it, or the designer, I should say, I feel like theirs looked a lot better, and maybe it's just because it was smaller. I don't know. Again, maybe because I was looser, but I didn't like that either. And so overall, it just had too many issues. So I went ahead, I frogged the whole thing. I don't know if I'm going to make it again, that pattern, or like try to make it again. If I did, I would have to make sure that I didn't do the rolled collar. I'd have to somehow modify to make it maybe like a folded over collar, like a crew folded over collar or something like that, because I didn't like the collar. And then I'm going to have to remeasure myself. I've watched some videos, and I'd probably watch the videos again to figure out about positive ease, how that works, measuring properly, and then I would need to do a gauge swatch, because I have a feeling that, and it never really made sense to me with gauge swatches, because I was like, if you're a little bit off, how much difference does that really make? But then I was watching a video from Mark, I don't remember his name, I'll link him down below. He does really great informative videos, and he was talking about how he makes sure, like, I'll link the video down below that I'm talking about, but he's like, how do I make sure that my sweaters fit every time, even if I don't get gauge, blah, blah, blah. But he was saying, for example, if your gauge is off by a little bit, and that little bit ends up being like half an inch, well, if that half an inch is multiplied by multiple times, because it's not just like it's half an inch off once, it's like per amount of stitches. So if that per amount of stitches is like 6 times, then you could be 3 whole inches off. And then if you're already adding positive ease, that adds even more. And I'd never thought of it that way before, but it makes sense now. So I have ideas of what garments I want to do next, because I have some yarn that I want to use up that I won in a giveaway, which I will show you. It's in here. But, yeah, I think I'm definitely going to have to swatch and then re-go over measurements. And another thing somebody said is buy more barber cord, or try-on cord as people call it. I have some, but I've kind of cut it here and there. So I think I need to get another like roll of it. They're like, try it on as you go. So, you know, do your collar, do down to here, see how is it fitting you. Is it really starting to get wide? If it is, you can kind of roll back and start decreasing if you really want to, like if you can, or you can be like, this is definitely not going to be the pattern for me, make it smaller and take it down a size, you know, and keep trying it on as you go. Don't just go all the way and then be like, oh, it's too big, because you can modify patterns as you go to kind of decrease it, especially if it's just stockinette, you can decrease it down as you go and make it smaller to fit your body. Because for some people, they might have a really broad, wide chest and a much smaller waist. And if they want that to fit more properly, they're going to have to decrease if the pattern doesn't allocate for that. So a lot of thinking I need to do, but you know, I'm learning as I go. Sometimes it's frustrating because I do so much work and then I don't feel like I have anything to show for it. But you know what? That's okay. I'm okay with that. Knitting, it's a learning process, and eventually I will get there. My journey might just be much slower compared to other people, and that's okay. And if that happens to you, that's okay. All right, so that is that. I don't know where that comes into the category of frogged. Maybe we need to have a whole new segment of my videos called What Did I Frog This Time? Because I'll probably do it again for something else. But actually, I have the yarn. Hold on. This is actually, I was just, you guys are on a, like a 3-drawer that's flipped over, and this is the yarn. This is actually the color yarn that I used to make that ribbed hat from Purl Soho, the classic ribbed hat. And then I accidentally put it in the washer and dryer, which it should have been fine, but I didn't know what composition this yarn was because it was just given to me like in a thing like this with no, so I'm assuming it must be wool of some sort or have wool. And it kind of felted and got totally ruined, which sucked, but this was a color. It was actually really, really cool. I wish I could find this exact same color yarn and just redo it again because it felt so fall, leaves vibe. I just know I love it. But if anyone knows what this is, please let me know. That would be great. Thanks. Okay. Whips. So for my whips right now, I'm trying to really focus hard on just working on my gift knitting that I need to do. Like I said, I got one of the scarves done. I have one here that I'm going to show you that is getting closer to being done, and another one that I started, and I'll explain why that one's going to take a while. And then I have one more scarf, and then I changed my plans for the other 3 that I mentioned from the previous video, and I'll talk about that. But let's talk about what this scarf is. And I got some new some new things. As you can see here, I don't know how well you're going to be able to tell, but these are cable locks. So the reason I have the cable locks on this project comparative to my tip protectors that I normally do is this is what I've been taking with me on the go when I'm working or whatever, and I keep it in a little pouch. And so sometimes I'll take it out and work on it when I can, and then I have to kind of shove it back in my bag quickly. I have lost 2.5 pairs of tip protectors. Somehow I lose them all the time. So I've just decided to use these cable locks. And what's really nice about them is I keep one on this side to kind of just hold this in place. And then the other one, if I can, I keep on the other side so that it doesn't slip off. This usually doesn't because there's so much cord. But when I'm not using it, because it's knit flat back and forth, I can just stick the other one here and then nothing happens. Again, I probably don't need them, but it just makes me feel better to have them. So this whip is the Jasmine scarf, and I am using, I actually have a whole nother skein of this right here. I'm using this Baby Soft yarn by Lion Brand, and it's relatively soft, I would say. All of these scarves, again, are acrylic because I want them to just be able to wash them and not have any issues. So I will show you the pattern. So this is the pattern. I'll kind of just stretch it a bit so you can see. So this is the pattern, the Jasmine scarf. It's honestly super easy. So this is how much I have done. We're getting there. The only issue I have is that it rolls at the end and then the side rolls in. And because this is acrylic, I don't know how well this is going to block. So I'm hoping when I'm done that I can at least like block it and then spray block it or steam block it. I'm hoping to be able to steam block it so that it'll at least relax a little bit and at least the edges will kind of open a little bit. If not, it's still really pretty even without, I think. But yeah, I really like this. It is super, super easy pattern. This is a free pattern. Yes, if I remember, so I can say. All it is literally is you do the first, couple rows here. And then once you get to this part, it is just the same 2 rows over and over. So the wrong side row, the right side row, the wrong side row, the right side row, over and over and over. So once you've done it, probably just a couple times, you will have memorized what this is. You can just take it with you on the go, super easy to do. You don't need to have a pattern with you. And what's really nice about this one is there is a tutorial to talk about how to do this section here, because when I read it at first, it didn't quite make sense to me. But they do have a tutorial on how to make that. It's in English style, so if you're continental, it's a little bit different, but it's not really that much different. So I think this is going to be really pretty. The backside's kind of weird looking, I guess, but who cares, Tis what it is. So I'm going to be happy with that one. This one is going to take me a while because I can only work on it when I can really focus. I cannot put it in my bag and just take it on the go and remember what to do. This is fully charted. Now, what's nice about this though is that the pattern is a chart, so you can utilize that, but it does have the written directions as well. And I utilize the written directions. I just don't want to have to do the chart. It's too much. And there are video tutorials that go along with parts of this because there's parts where you have to do like cabling. It's a little bit different style cabling than what normally you would do. So I'm going to show you how much I have, which is almost nothing. Okay, so this is how much I have. I'll show you. Let me kind of stretch it a bit so you can see. So this is how much I have so far. I actually had probably about this much more. I had finished a whole pattern. It's about 28 rows in a pattern, and then you just repeat that about approximately 15 times or however long you want it to be. And then I have this little row counter, and I had put it away for a couple days, picked it back up, thought I knew what row I was on because I looked at the row counter, because normally what I do is I flip my counter. So let's say like I flip it to 2. Okay, now I'm on row 2. When I'm done with row 2, I flip it to 3. Now if I flipped it to 3 and then left it like this, then I know, okay, now I'm on row 3 for the next pattern. Like if I picked it up, whatever row I'm on, that's what I'm on. I don't know if I forgot to change my counter or what happened, but I picked it back up, started knitting, and I'm like, this is not looking right. And the issue with this is, at least for me, because I'm more of an adventurous beginner, is that this is so complicated that I did not know how to, in a sense, rip back to whatever row because I couldn't figure it out. So I just had to just rip the whole thing out, start over, and hope that the next time I do this, I'm not screwing up what row I'm on. If it becomes too complicated, I will just not do this scarf and emergency knit a different scarf that's a little bit easier for the teacher. But I really want to do this one. This is, what it looks like, and it's super, super pretty. The pattern is so pretty. And honestly, the pattern's not hard to do if you just follow the written directions word for word. It's really not that bad. And again, the video tutorial tells you how to do the cabling part of it. But it's honestly not that bad. So, but I don't have very much of that done. Like I said, I'm hoping to finish the Jasmine scarf first, start on this one, and then focus this one at home all the time. Or if I'm sitting in the car and I can look at my pattern. And then I have one more scarf that I'm going to do, which will be the delicate cable scarf, which I think I should be able to do on the go because it's not super, super complicated. I know there is a pattern or chart somewhat to it, but I think I should be able to do it without looking too much. I'm hoping. This is such a pretty color. And again, I'm using my cable locks because why not? So that's that. Not much going on with that whip, but I just can't do much with that right now. The only other thing I have left to work on is the cable scarf. And then, now I had 3 more scarves I was going to work on. I honestly don't even remember the names of the 3 other scarves. I think the wind chill, the glacier, and something else. I just don't think I'm going to have time to finish those 3 other scarves. So I think what I'm going to do is do the 4 scarves for the one class. And then for the other class, I'm going to do the headbands because those 3 people I've never worked with before. So the 4 that I'm making the scarves for, I made 2 of those people who were there last year headbands. So I don't want to do the same thing. But this other class that my other child's in, those people I've never made anything for. So I could make the headbands and those don't take too long. I can usually pump out probably all 3 in a week if I really work hard at it. And I don't need to have any of those done until, almost the end of December, like mid-December, I would say. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to focus on getting the rest of these scarves done in November and then start probably December really quick pumping out some headbands for the other teachers and aides. So that is that. The only other thing I'm going to be picking up, and I don't know if I'll do it in the time frame of now to when I do the next podcast, is I'm almost 100% sure the person I'm making this for would not be watching this, but my intended parent that I bore a child for, don't watch this part. If you happen to be watching this video, 100% sure they're not going to, but I just have to say it. You can skip to this part if you want to. I'm going to be making these Taylor Swift mittens. Well, I'm going to attempt to make these Taylor Swift mittens for the intended father that I had my surrogate baby back for in February. And they are a big Taylor Swift fan. And so I'm hoping to be able to get these done and make them for Hanukkah because they're Jewish. And yeah, I don't know exactly what I'm going to do for said baby. I actually already have a few small non-knit or crochet gifts for them. But I might pump out something, cute for them. Just make them a little pair of mittens or something like that to go along with it. But I mostly want to make a gift for him. I thought these mittens were really cool. I mean, it's pretty much mittens with just a chart, so I'm hoping it's not going to be too bad. I'm pretty sure I looked at the calendar correctly, and please forgive me if I'm wrong, but it said, if I remember right, that Hanukkah doesn't start until, I think, the day of Christmas, the 25th of December. For some reason, I thought it started earlier, so I think I should have enough time to be able to get them and send them out in the mail for them to receive them by Hanukkah, hopefully. Cross your fingers. Yeah, that's that. And then, so acquisitions that I've got. I got, you know, these cable locks, and I actually got a pair. I got this bag. I'll show you about this in a minute. I got some new clover tapestry needles because somehow all of mine just have gone to the wayside. And then I got this new tape measure because I had one exactly like this. It broke. I actually got a different one, which is up here. It's a snail. It's super cute. Let's see if I can I don't even know where it is. Maybe I'll show a picture here or something. I got one that's a snail, but it's so thick that it's hard to keep inside of like a little tiny notions bag. So I got a new one of these. And let's see what, oh, and here's the other. So this is the smaller size of the cable locks. They're supposed to be orange. They don't look orange to me. But these actually don't fit very big needles. I think it said these were supposed to go up to a US 4 maybe. But even that I tried and they don't really work too well. So I've just been using the medium size and they work much better. I think I already showed you guys these stitch markers I got before. But I can show you. So I got this little like zipper pouch that I'm now using as my notions bag, and political if you're watching this, but who cares? I got this Palestine bag, and I've put some of my buttons on there. But this bag and this notions pouch and a pair of earrings, which if I can remember, I'll put a picture somewhere, are from, I'll put it up here, can't remember the name, a deaf person in Gaza, in Palestine, who lives there. And they are making these to raise funds to help families and the people in Palestine. Again, I will put all of their information down below first thing, so that if you're interested in helping them out in any way, please do if you can, or just share the word. The other thing, which I can't remember if I showed you this before. If I did, I'll just cut this part out. But if I didn't, then you'll see. This yarn is in the color, wait, there it is. It's in the color Pegasus. There we go. And this is Superwash Merino, fingering weight, rainbow yarn. This is what it looks like. It is super pretty, by Prismatic Fiber and Artistry. I actually this is starting to come apart because I'm manhandling it so much. I think that's better. I actually got 2 skeins of this. You can see the other one, or 2 hanks, I should say, of this. I won it in a giveaway along with a few other items. That video should come out on my TikTok soon. But I feel I'm going to take this yarn and make it into a potential cardigan or sweater. I don't know, but I'm a little freaked out now about making any garments. So I might hold off until at least after the holidays to even attempt to start something, just so I can work on getting all this gift knitting done. And then my child said they wanted a rainbow Emily the Train sweater. So I found a pattern that I think could work, that I could modify with a chart. So I kind of want to start working on that before I'd make something for myself. Again, I gift knit everything, gift crochet everything. So 9 times out of 10, I'm not going to have almost anything to show you that I keep for myself. I really have to improve. Maybe 2025 can be my year of selfish knitting and not make anything for anyone. Unless maybe it's my kids or something, or if I already have a project plan. But I think I really need to take 2025 and just be selfish and knit a ton of stuff for me, so that I actually have things that I like, I want to wear, other than this hat. I think that's what I might need to do. Let me know down below in the comments if you think 2025 should be my selfish knitting year, minus any projects I already have planned. Because I already have a project crochet blanket planned for a teacher, but the main bulk of 2025 should be selfish knitting. Yes? Let me know down below. Are you what's considered a selfish knitter, aka you knit mostly or all for yourself and nobody else? I think that's fine. I don't know why I end up gift knitting so much. Beats me. I don't know. But yeah, okay. I'm blabbing now. All right, that's that. Let me know down below, as always, what are you working on? What are you knitting? What are you crocheting, embroidering, felting, needle punching, whatever you call that. I don't know, Tunisian crochet. What are you doing? And are you making anyone a gift for the holidays? Because now is the time that people are starting their holiday gift knitting and crocheting, even though I've already started because I'm being a little ambitious. I'm being very ambitious. It's pretty sad. Oh, plus actually, acquisition, I got this. Storage system. All of them come with these door covers. I just kind of took them off so that you could see some of the yarn. But I got that for my birthday. And it holds most of my yarn. And this one right here, you can kind of see it right here. It's that brushed yarn. I have 2 huge quantities of the brushed yarn, one in the khaki, one in like an olive green color. Don't remember what it's called. Because I was going to make things out of them and then I frogged them. So I have huge quantities of that I need to either use up or give away if I don't intend on using them. So those are more up here. And some, you can't see where they are, but I have big quantities of that. It's cheap yarn. So if I end up giving it away, it's really not a big deal. It didn't really end up costing me that much in the end, even with as much as I have. But I might use it. I might not. We'll see. But I mean, I have all of this and I have all of this. This is all notions and books and random stuff, but I have a lot of other yarn that I need to use up and use for projects and other things first before I buy yarn for something else. Plus I have to buy yarn for a crochet blanket that I'm going to start probably right around after the holidays and work till Teacher Appreciation Week, because I'm going to make a crochet blanket for one of my children's teachers because she's an absolute angel on earth and I love her and I appreciate her so much. So that's going to be a lot of yarn that I need to use. So anyways. Okay, blabbing done. All right, thank you so much for watching. Remember, as always, to subscribe, hit the bell. Will keep doing my podcast, having videos come out. Again, as always, let me know what you want and pray that I don't have to frog anything. All right, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.